You can only change your thoughts. You have no control over your circumstances. Life is going to throw many curveballs at you. Our brain is wired to protect ourselves. The remote control of your life is with you. 0 to 7, like I always say, is when the entire subconscious mind is made. A child is forever trying to be, do you see me? Are you happy with me?
So are you going to say it's like fake it till you make it?
100%, because the subconscious mind does not know the difference between what's true and what is untrue. You create your purpose by doing things that you love to do, and you just have to start to take one small step. That is all.
Can you manifest the love of your life?
Through real conversations, lived experiences, and honest reflections, this show is about belief, discipline, and clarity, one deliberate choice at a time. If you're here to explore what possibility can do, follow, subscribe, and join that journey of Making It Mumkin. Our guest today is Coach Saloni Suri, someone who talks heavily about rewiring your brain through the power and tools of neuroscience. My personal journey with her has been for about 3 years, and she has helped me really improve my energy and my relationship with money, look at my life abundantly, and help me gain the courage in asking for what I truly deserve for the services I render. I'm excited for you guys to listen on and see how she can help you make it mumkin. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you so much for having me. Such a pleasure to be here in Dubai with you.
The pleasure is absolutely mine, firstly, because you're here in Dubai, all the way from
Absolutely.
India, and I get the chance to record this with you.
Thank you.
Coach, you've played a very important role in my life ever since you've come. I think it's been about 2 to 3 years we've been working together, and there are some incredible tools that you've brought into my life. And the intention of this episode is, even if it impacts one person, to plant that seed of abundance, which you did for me, or the seed of mumkin or possibility that you certainly have done for me, and also improving the energy with money. And most of all, I think, Coach, what you've done for me is have the courage to ask what I deserve for.
Absolutely.
And
Because many people are not taught how to do that.
exactly.
Yeah.
And in a professional setting, if I may, this would even mean that, a lot of people don't know how to ask, let's say in my case, how do I ask for that fee to my client? Or how do I ask for that raise? And that was so important for me to understand that, I am who I am because of the services that I render, and what to focus on and what not to. We'll get to that in a bit. But Coach, if I were to ask you, what is it that you do and why is it that your clients come to you, what would you say?
So I'm a neuro-coach, and I use brain-based techniques of change. I merge them with spiritual wisdom, and I help to rewire minds. So I'm actually just, I have learned very well about these different subjects, and the knowledge has existed for more than 5,000 years, I think. And many people who understand it are able to teach it. So I'm very grateful that I understood it, and now I can teach it,
Yeah.
and I can help others. But the information has been around for many years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Coach, one of the things that I've certainly learned from you, and even the way you answered that question, where you took your practice and you said, I'm grateful that I've had the opportunity to learn. I want to talk to you about the importance of words and self talk. Because for us as humans, and correct me if I'm wrong, why don't we speak to ourselves the way we speak to someone we love?
Yeah.
Yeah, like we don't speak to ourselves the way we speak to someone we love. So why do we do that as humans? And
Yeah. So that's largely because our brain is wired to work in a mechanism in which its first KRA, its job description is to protect ourselves, right? And whenever we feel threatened by the environment, which is extremely volatile, it is really not in your control. You don't control all these other people in your life and how they're going to talk to you. The only thing that is in control that you have, the remote control of your life, is with you. And the day you understand that, you will start being gentler and kinder to yourself. Because nobody else, like I always say, this is a 1 BHK, nobody lives here but you. And you are the gardener. So if you don't garden it, you don't water with good thoughts, and if you don't remove the weeds, as quickly as they come, because as you keep growing up in life, you're not really the same person. You're a different person. And in different circumstances, I mean, when you're a small child, you're a child, then you're a teen, then you're a person discovering your changing body. And the thoughts that you have are very different. And I always say it is a primary responsibility of parents to help their children develop a vocabulary which is kind. But not many parents know how to do that. They don't know how to speak to their child in an empowering manner. Because we learn vocabulary, we learn language in the environment that we grow up in as children. 0 to 7, like I always say, is when the entire subconscious mind is made. But if your parents have empowered you with a language of clarity, a language of choice, and I can explain this to you via a very simple analogy, where a mother says, we call the mother and a child's love to be, your mother loves you unconditionally. But actually, the vocabulary is very conditional. If you do this, I will do this. So, love is not free flowing in a child's life. A child is forever trying to be, do you see me? Are you happy with me? But the mother or the father or the grandmother or the grandfather or any other elder relative, your mother will tell you, be nice, be nice, be nice. And they don't teach you to be yourself. So you grow up trying to please your parents, and you're always catching up. You're always trying to be good, be a good girl, be a good boy. That's what your parents many times teach you.
Yeah.
Which parent teaches the child to be themselves, right? You're always guided. You're always guided by them. And then you grow up, you're in your 20s, you're 24. And I see parents nowadays, they have curated almost each and every hour of their child. There is no free time to just sit and do nothing, right? So the brain is not developing new neural pathways because your mother is giving you the toy, she's chosen your friends, the father has the weekend allocated. So when is the child building new neural pathways? When is the child making choices? And you develop a vocabulary for yourself when you sit by yourself and you think, Mom, Dad, I want this. I don't like this. I like that. Because if you curate the life, I mean, like, where will the vocabulary come from? It comes from the books that you read. It comes from the words that you hear from your nanny or from your parent or from your teacher or from your friends. And I think the biggest responsibility of parents is to give them the language, give them the vocabulary to fall in love with themselves.
Any words, Coach, that you would advise any parents listening today that they can include in their vocabulary from just
You just need to have a few mantras. I can tell you a story.
please?
My son would, he was, I think, 6, 7 years old, and they had to take a calendar to school. And he would come back running from the bus stop. Mom, I forgot my calendar. I forgot my calendar. And I know the bus is about to leave. I would sit down, I would look at him in the eye, and I would tell him, you remembered to come and take your calendar. So well done. You remembered. My child is going to a school to study. I don't want him to have a vocabulary in which he believes that his memory is no good. The whole point of education is to have a very good memory, right? And I've taught this many times, I'll teach it again. So if you just take these 3 hands and you just put them in your third eye chakra and you say to yourself, my ability to remember, to recall and repeat is amazing. There's so many adults I meet today who tell me, Coach, my memory is not too good. I forgot names. I forgot this. I forgot that. How is it cool for a business leader to say that your memory is not good? Our memory is what we use. It's called experience. It's called work experience. And all your experience is locked in your mind. And it's not okay to say that I have a bad memory, because then you do have a bad memory. And how is that a skill set?
Yeah.
It's definitely not a good skill set. But people use this vocabulary so loosely. So loosely, right? And so, and the minute I spot something that my kids are doing, I'll always tell, that's amazing. Memory is amazing. I think both my kids grew up with a very strong mindset that because till the age of 22, you are from 6, and nowadays children go to school at 2, 1.5, 2 years. From 2 to 22, 23, 20 years, you're going to be studying.
Yeah.
Right? What do you need?
Memorization.
You need to be able to understand concepts,
comprehend, and
then you have an exam.
Yeah.
And in an exam, so the words are, you remember, you recall, and then you have to recollect. You have to repeat it. You have to repeat what you remembered.
Yeah.
For that, you have to recall it.
Yeah.
Right? So you will be able to recollect that. Amazing. Do you remember, you play these games where, I'll just take the name of the place, and do you remember where we were? Ah, awesome. My God, your memory is amazing. If you can give your child the gift of good memory, good comprehension, and if you can give them that belief that you can do it, and accept them as they are. My husband and myself are both very skilled and good in our academics and overachievers in some way. And I realized my daughter was not a maths and science person. And it took us 4-5 years to really put our finger to it and accept it. And she's an art filmmaker today. So obviously she was a very creative person.
Yeah.
Maths and science was not her scene. So the goal that was set for her was just do your best. And that's okay. She wanted to go for, she was part of a drama club. And next day was a paper. And obviously for her, that was more of a priority because that's what she loved.
Yeah.
And it's very hard as parents to give your children that freedom.
Yeah.
Because I meet so many older 20, 25-year-old kids. And, Nikita, they don't know what they want. And the reason why they don't know what they want is because they have not made choices.
Or they haven't spent that time with themselves, right? Everything's been curated, as you were
It's
saying.
all curated. So you have not given your child the chance to fail. And you have to allow them to, because once you make a choice, it's either going to be good or it's going to be bad, right? But when you've made a good choice, you get a reflection for yourself. Oh, I like this. You put him for tennis practice, he discovers after, you don't finish what you start. The minute you have told your child that he's not finishing what he starts, what is the message you have?
He's not going to finish it.
And then slowly, slowly, it becomes your belief system. Because the parents are repeating it again and again. They're repeating it again and again. Why? How is a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old supposed to know whether they like chess or whether they like badminton or whether they like tennis? They don't know. And it is okay. It's okay. It's okay. I was working with a lady once, and she came to me saying that her child wouldn't go to birthday parties, wouldn't want to have a birthday party, was very quiet in class, and the teacher was giving them flack. I said, have you considered the possibility that your child is an introvert? Have you considered the possibility that he doesn't function well in large groups? And that is okay. It's okay. Your child doesn't have to. And even the teachers give feedback which says, your child is very quiet, your child doesn't speak. It's okay.
It's okay.
He just wants to be alone. He or she wants to play chess. They like to do solo sports. They are not football. Football and cricket are team sports. And there is chess. There is swimming.
Yeah.
There is tennis. I think every person, I feel, through a young age should align themselves to a sport. Because mobility is key for brain development. And when you move your body, you always grow new neural pathways.
Yeah.
You have a lot of endorphins that come to you when you release,
Yeah.
when you move your body. Yeah, and which is something that I know very well. Yeah, you're a person who spends. Did you play games when you were a child?
My mom really tried putting us through sports camp.
Huh.
But I no, there was this one teacher in my school who pushed me to play basketball.
Did you play basketball?
I did. I was really big. I mean, I was a chubby kid.
Huh.
So I took every energy in me because I would feel so conscious because all these girls would be like pro ballers. They're so fit. They're so athletic. And this teacher was just my biggest cheerleader. She's like, Nikki, you will do it. You go play in the house team. I'm like, look at the other people there. And I still remember, I can visualize where I'm sitting on the bench because that day I scored one, I don't know, you call it hoop, goal, basket, whatever. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have even, and you know, like even now if you tell me like I love, like I don't know, there's something about basketball that really like like attracts me, like it looks like a cool sport. And you know, but I never had the courage to play because I was always chubby and I was always that girl who'd be like, oh, we have to pick her, let's just pick her, she's the last one, you know, because everyone thinks that when you're fat you can't move and so one of my other PE teachers put me in shot put. Why? Because she's fat, so she probably has strength, so she can throw a heavy ball. I'm like, what? But no, I did not play many sports as a kid.
But I think today the gym is your
My anchor.
it's your game field.
That's my game.
Because you do that a lot.
Yeah, and I feel that every day. That you know, whether it's a good day, it's a bad day, it's a crappy day. I fought. I show up to the gym and then I walk out just in peace because the movement really, really gets the body, the mind, everything going. I don't know. It is the happy hormones. It's the endorphins. It works.
Yeah.
It works.
It works.
It works. It does.
And I think also because consistency is the key to mastery.
Yeah. I'm going to get to consistency. Yeah, but you know, when you said this recall, recollect, and talking about words, right? So let's say, I'm not going to say that my memory is bad. My memory is pretty good, actually. But yeah, there are some things that I might like miss, or maybe there are 200 things. Now, let's say I'm bad at something, okay? But if I keep saying something that's actually positive, like instead of saying, oh my God, my memory is so bad, I'm going to be like, no, I recollect, I recall, I repeat, I recollect. Do you think my brain will learn through repetition? Or do you think
that's the only way the brain
that's even though it's not my reality today? So are you going to say it's like fake it till you make it? Or
100%.
100% now?
Because the subconscious mind does not know the difference between what's true and what is untrue. Change is only possible. In the beginning, it's very, very hard.
Yeah.
The middle gets self-doubt, why am I doing it? All of these questions come. But the end is always euphoric.
Yeah.
And every person's brain changes at a different time. You might learn swimming faster than I do, and both of us might join the class at the same time. So I tell all my coaching clients, people who come attend my workshops, just because he or she has learned something in 10 days doesn't mean that you're going to learn it in 10 days. You could do it in 2 days. You could do it in 1 month. It doesn't matter. Because everybody's programming is, there are 7.3 billion brains in this world that are actually all different.
Yeah.
And everybody learns differently. A medicine, my mom has cancer, so I've been working with her for the last 2 years on that. And every time I go to the doctor, how long? They say, we don't know. I think the medicine is going to work or not. On some people it works, on some people it doesn't work. It's different.
It's different.
It's different. But consistency in time, how much, there is no answer to that. What neuroscience research tells us that it's 21 days, 21 days, 21 days. It's 3 sets. I keep it as 21, 40, and 66 days to give a little bit of leeway in that. But that's the amount of time. If you do something that long, there is a structural change in your brain. It's a lot like you learn swimming, and after you have learned it, you might not swim for maybe 3 years. But if you remember it.
Like they say,
you remember it. So this is a structural change, like muscle memory.
Yeah.
So it takes that much of time, and for everybody it is different.
Yeah. So, Coach, going back to the point where you said that change is always difficult at the beginning, like there's always going to be resistance, right? So, you know, I've been through a massive transformation. And one of the most common questions I get asked is, I'll follow my diet for 3 days, but not the 4th. And then I'll give up. Or how do you, 1 week I don't see the right weight loss and I give up. And the point is, everybody knows that if they follow that healthy path of eating clean and moving their body and sleeping on time, they will get that ultimate goal that they've been talking about for years. So they know the goal is great, right? But we also know that this journey is not going to be the easiest, let's put it like that. How do you fight that constant breaking the loop or feeling like, oh, no, or let's say if you don't get that certain outcome, then people feel very demotivated. How do you fight that loop of, oh, I'm demotivated today, where even though you know that this bringing about this change is actually what your life really needs?
Okay. So there's a garden and you've put a seed. You want roses here, you want fruits here, and you want grass here. You've put the seeds and you're sitting and watching. You need to go to the garden every day. The weeds are going to come every day. That's what a gardener does. He waters the plants every day. If a weed comes, he quickly goes and he takes it out so that his rose bushes can come. And if you don't do gardening every day, then you have no business to accept the rewards. You have to pay a price. If you don't pay the price, you have no right to the rewards.
True.
And the price, the rule is simple. I don't know if I ever taught you. But the price has to be paid in advance. Yeah. The price has to be, you do the work in advance before you get the results. The price has to be paid in full. And number 3, there is no guarantee that you will get the reward. These are the rules. It's like buying a flight ticket. You have to buy the flight ticket in advance. You have to pay the money in full. And actually, you don't know if you will reach the destination.
True.
But do you catch the flight?
Yes.
You do. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You just follow the rules of the game because that is the way the game is played. And if you don't pay the price in full and you don't pay it in advance,
Then you
don't deserve the rewards.
Nice, I like that. Thank you.
You don't deserve the rewards.
Coach, I read the Gita last year. And in
Good job.
Thank you. And in the Gita, they totally, they talk about this so much that you can't worry about the outcome.
Karmanivadikarastu ma phaleshu kadachana. Focus on the action that you have to take, not just the thought. The thought is important. The thought is important. But if you don't do the work, it's very hard to be able to expect, like when I talk about manifestation, right? Yes, coach, I wrote about it, I journaled about it, and now I said, so what did you do about it? The neuroscience of manifestation focuses a lot on the action. Right? If you just keep on sitting and waiting for things to happen and fall into your lap, unfortunately, that's not the way the world works.
Yeah.
Visualization, imagination is more powerful than knowledge, Albert Einstein. Right? You have to be able, why is it so important to set your goals? Why is it so important to build a vision board? Right? Because they both work together. They work together. And when you have clarity, clarity doesn't come like this. It comes slowly, slowly, slowly. Right? For example, my default, I don't know if you noticed what I just did. Did you notice? I did this. But this is not my default. This is my left hand. I usually do this. Now, just a simple exercise of wiring new neural pathways is as simple as this. 1, 2, do. It's hard.
Yeah, this one is harder than this one.
And then come to the third one. And then comes the fourth one. Hard. Yeah, come to the left one. 1, 2, 3. Hard. It's hard. Right? But you have to train yourself to go to your hand, which is actually not. This is not the way I normally do it. But I have taught myself to use another part of my brain. So if you notice, my left is just as good as my right. Right? But you have to practice it. You have to do it intentionally. And then slowly, slowly over time, it becomes easier to do the hard stuff. It becomes easier.
Yeah.
Because you have trained yourself to do it. Change is not so hard.
Yeah.
It's okay. And then it becomes easier because it becomes the way you live your life, right? You're not afraid to do the hard things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this is also a learned skill.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to do it.
It is a learned skill, right? That's the thing. I feel like what I notice is, a lot of people have been asking me about consistency. But the best part is that if anyone can have a takeaway is that this was not me. It's all, that's what you just said. It's a learned skill that anybody can make these values a part of their life. And I think it's just about kind of understanding and accepting that fact. right? And fighting that initial resistance, which then becomes, as you rightfully said, euphoric. Like it really becomes euphoric. Every, I would say, credit when it comes to me and my journal and my yellow book and my red pen goes to you, right? And I won't lie to you. There are some days I skip, okay, because if I've woken up a little late in the morning, but I love journaling. And I just want you to talk a little about journaling with the aspect that maybe the person listening doesn't even want to get out of bed. How do they ask themselves why should they journal? Like they're in the most pessimistic pole of their life. And then let's say somebody is eager to learn. Yeah. How do they get started on journaling? What would be your 3 mantras or?
So I have noticed that, and it's a fact, it's a neuroscience fact, that when the world is looking like a very dark place, right? The one thing to replace that is gratitude. So, what am I grateful for? Thought, the world is not too good to me. Both these cannot coexist, right? And in order for this one to drop away from your life, if you just ask yourself, what am I grateful for? And you find 10 things and you write it down every day and keep it so, so, so simple. I'm grateful I have electricity. I'm grateful I have a glass of water to drink. I'm grateful I have a bed. I'm grateful I have clothes to wear. Write 10 things. And then suddenly you will realize, oh my God, I already have so much.
So much.
And it is a good place to start. It's a good place to start because you start, like I say, with your cup full, right? And when you start with that, it gives you that little bit of, because motivation is a daily practice, right? It's not something that you do once in a while. Even in the word motivation, there's motive. Motive is your purpose. Yeah. So what is your purpose? And you don't find it, you create it. You create your purpose by doing things that you love to do. And you just have to start to take one small step. That is all. And when you take that one step, I have noticed the other one comes after it. So take every step forward with the confidence that the one after it will come to you at the right time. And that's when you can actually pause. That's when you're actually a little patient with yourself. He did, she did. No need to look left, no need to look right. Be in your lane, because that's the only lane you have any control over. You look left, yeah, somebody will be faster than you. Somebody will be slower than you, right? Somebody will have more than you. Somebody will have less than you. But you also have enough. So start with, I am enough. And then I think you become unstoppable.
Yeah.
You become unstoppable. You become limitless.
Yeah, I love that word. Coach, going back to journaling, okay, I've seen the benefits of it. But let's say there's a day that I don't have anything to journal. What would you say I start with gratitude?
So you can do, if you don't feel like physically journaling one day, the movement is important because this is also the Dhyan Mudra. And if you invert it, this is also how we write. And it's important to activate the chakras, all the fingers, all the elements are pretty much over here. And when you physically write, it makes a difference. But if you don't feel like writing, it's okay. Just sit quietly. Sit quietly and just do a mental revision of where you are at. And like I said, always start with reflection. Try and remember how the day went by. There's so many times I ask people, do you remember what you ate for lunch yesterday? And they're like, ooh, ah. Yeah. You met someone, do you remember what they were wearing? They don't remember.
They don't.
They don't remember. Yeah. So you have to take cognizance of the fact that this machine requires an oil change every day.
Yeah.
It requires servicing every day. If you're not going to use it, it's going to rust. It's just going to rust. And then there's Alzheimer's, there's Parkinson's, there is dementia, there is loneliness. All of these are going to creep into your lives, right? So you have to take care of this. It is one of the most, like they say, if you don't use it, lose it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Coach, on the topic of journaling, this is maybe a little personal. How do I get my mom and people her age, or women her age, to get to journaling? Let me give you a little context. I think my mom and many moms who are in the age of my mother, which is, they've worked really hard to give all of us kids the best life. And they've made their entire identity about their husband, their family, and their kids. If I were very honest, I think Sangeeta started living her life at 45, heavy. And I feel that sometimes, I don't know, she gave herself the time to understand herself. And journaling as a tool at least has helped me get closer to myself. So when you're at that age and you're so stuck in your ways, how can we get our mothers and maybe even our fathers to journal and give themselves that time that they need to?
So you can just leave the book, and if they feel like picking it up, they will. If they don't, it's okay. It's okay. Let everybody choose their path of change themselves. Because if you give them freedom to do it, it's okay. You can only share the knowledge. Like they say, you can take a horse to the pool, but you can't make the horse drink
More water.
right? So you can show the way if you like, if you feel that it has benefited you, you can share it with others. But I would say leave it at that.
And at least get that book and just keep it.
Because, yeah, if they want to do it, they'll do it.
They'll do it.
And if they don't do it, it's okay. Doesn't matter. This is not the only way. This is not the only way. There are so many others. And what works for everybody has to come from within. It has to be your choice of what tool you wish to use to be able to take control of your life, take control of your thoughts, or change it. And like I said, more than 80% of the people even don't do that.
Yeah. So that's
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
So I think, going back to that point, I feel like, many of my friends, we're all at that age where somehow we feel responsible also for our parents, and we just want to make sure that they live their best life and they're well taken care of, and, all of that. But sometimes they don't listen. Or how do we not hold ourselves responsible, or just be like, it's okay? Like, how do we give ourselves that grace also? Or
For the mantra I have for that, which I use, is live and let live.
my favorite.
And every person has the right, senior citizens have the right to make a decision on how they want to lead their lives. I have every right to lead my life the way I want.
True.
And my kids they can share that, Mom, I think you should download ChatGPT and try using it. And Mom, Gemini is really good. Mom, Pro Banana Pro has released. I think you should check it out. I will listen to them. But am I going to use it to write my reels? I'm not. Right? Mom, you can write your reels now. In fact, they know I start reels. Yeah, you can now write your reels in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. Right?
Okay.
I'm going to hear you, but I'm going to do what feels right for me.
True.
So live and let live. Please.
Fair. Coach, in your book, Rewiring Your Brain, you mentioned the RRFM method.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to know more about that method, I recommend you get Coach's book. But the M in the RRFM stands for manifestation. And I want to ask you, can you manifest the love of your life?
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%.
How would you say we do that?
Yeah, but start loving yourself first.
Okay.
Because when you love yourself, what you have, you can give to others. If you don't have, you can't really give it to other people. And you're totally worth it. Totally worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And once you keep that as the goal, and whose wife are you, and what kind of a husband do you have, and what does he do, where are you going for holidays together, what is that? You want to be able to get to a place where I'm going to be sitting there with my husband and I'm going to be having a cup of coffee soon. Right? So that means it's already there in your head. I'm going to be wearing that at my wedding. Oh, I love that. I think that's where I'm going to go for my honeymoon. My husband is holding my hand. He's not here, but if I imagine it, I can have that feeling.
Right.
And that is what you're attracting into your life. Because you can feel somebody holding you. A lot of the word alone, the word single by itself is wrong. Right? Because I'm a single woman. I'm alone. And if you're using these two words in your vocabulary, oh, nobody's coming.
But how else do I describe? How else does one describe if they're single or not?
I wouldn't recommend anybody to use those words because it didn't really exist. You are never single. Yeah? You are a working woman. You're a daughter. You're a sister. You're a very good friend. You are all those things also.
Yeah.
So why would you choose the word single? Because technically speaking, nobody is ever single.
Yeah.
You are here with me now,
Yeah.
right? You don't have a husband. I don't have a husband here. Both of us are single women sitting here and having a conversation. Will you use that to describe me? No, you won't. Will I use that to describe you? No, we are here together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
technically, nobody's alone. Nobody's really single. But we use these words and we start defining ourselves with these words. And if you use that word for yourself, then you are alone. You're never alone, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it is all about the power of words. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So I'm going to put you in a spot now.
Oh. Okay. Let me try. All the learnings need to.
Right? So do you believe you can manifest love?
Yes.
Good. And what do you think you would be as a wife?
Supportive,
Okay.
understanding,
Very good.
giving,
Very good.
slightly troublesome.
Why?
Just to
The fun troublesome.
the fun troublesome, not the
Okay.
not the bad
Yeah.
support. Troublesome.
You're forgetting one very important one.
Kind, loving.
Loving. Because marriage between two people is a lot about love.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you are a loving person, others love you.
Yeah.
Right?
That flows. It flows.
It flows.
With love, it flows.
Love, trust, and respect are the foundation of
Absolutely.
any relationship, and especially that of a marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Respect is a very important one. Yes.
I respect myself, I trust myself, and I love myself.
Yeah.
When you do these three things for yourself, you will do it for others.
Yes.
Right?
Respect, trust, love. Noted. We're almost at the end, and we love to play this game, and it's called Mumkin or Not Mumkin. So I'm going to say some phrases, cues, and you have to tell me Mumkin or Not Mumkin. Okay? First one, rewiring 20 years of negative self-talk in 66 days.
Okay.
So there's hope.
Absolutely. 100%.
Changing your thoughts without changing your circumstances.
Okay. You can only change your thoughts. You have no control over your circumstances. Life is going to throw many curveballs at you. What are you going to do? Smoking. Because you're in charge of yourself.
Fair. Starting journaling when you're already burnt out.
Okay.
How?
Just start.
Just start. You have to.
Just start. Just 10 things that you're grateful for.
And
You can't do the RRFM, no problem. Can you be grateful for 10 things? Of course you can.
Of course you can.
Of course.
Loving yourself before fixing yourself.
So loving yourself is the first step, right? And by just saying, I love myself, it's the first step. 3 words.
So it's mumkin.
Okay.
Coach, can I ask you something? Sorry, there is saying, oh, I love myself, and then completely forgetting the actions to take to make yourself lovable. I mean, there are some people who can get too caught up in the right affirmations and the words, and they think just by saying everything,
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work like that, no?
No, it doesn't work.
You have to take the action.
You have to take the action. Yeah.
Otherwise, then I can't imagine a world in which it works, right?
No,
Doesn't.
it doesn't.
Okay, amazing. Thank you for giving us that hope. Now we're going to play something known as Mumkin Mantras.
Okay.
So I'm going to say some phrases and I want you to share your go-to mantra or one-liner for these.
Done.
Okay?
Done.
Change begins when I
take responsibility of my life.
I love that. My mind listens when
I'm quiet.
It does listen when I'm quiet, actually. That's so true. Journaling works because
it just works. Till you don't do it, you won't know it.
Till you don't do it, you won't know it. True, it works.
It's a game changer.
It's a game changer. It's been for me, for sure. So thank you for teaching me that. Consistency beats Hope. Consistency beats hope.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
I think consistency beats everything. If you're
Absolutely, yeah.
consistent, yeah.
Hope is it's a very important ingredient of life.
Yeah.
But sometimes people spend a lot of time in that feeling, and it can rob you of your consistency. So it's a bit of a catch-22 situation.
You're right, because in hope of something, I may
Yeah,
not take
you
the
don't do
action.
it. Yeah,
But then if you take the action on consistently, it's gonna
becomes a reality.
Yeah, reality.
Yeah.
Fair. What makes change mumkin is
Doing the work.
doing the work. Amazing. Coach, this was so insightful. Selflessly, if I may say so. I've had some very important questions answered, and I really hope and pray that you get to change and transform and inspire many more lives like myself,
Thank you.
and enable more and more young individuals like myself to do more and feel more and just be more. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.